So are you feeling the pressure to use AI for your schoolwork, but you're also absolutely terrified you'll get it wrong? Yeah, you are not alone. The academic world is just buzzing with these new tools, and honestly, it can feel like you're walking through a minefield. Okay, let's dive in and turn all that anxiety into a real advantage. We're going to break down exactly how you can use AI ethically and effectively, and actually become a smarter, more efficient student.
All right, here's the game plan for the next few minutes. First, we'll tackle that big question. Is AI a cheat code or an assistant? Then, we'll build your personal AI study squad with some amazing tools. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of university rules and debunk some myths about AI detection. Finally, we'll run through a practical playbook for using and citing AI, and wrap it all up with a look at how this is changing the future of learning.
Let's be real. The pressure on students today is intense. You're juggling assignments, research, exams, and now you've got this powerful, kind of confusing new technology thrown into the mix. So what is it? Is it a risky shortcut that could get you into trouble? Or is it a revolutionary new assistant?
This is the question on everyone's mind, right? And that fear is totally valid. Using AI without clear guidelines can feel like you're walking a tightrope. One wrong move and you could be facing accusations of academic misconduct. The problem is, the lines are still super blurry, but the stakes are incredibly high. And get this, if you're using these tools, you are in the vast majority. A 2025 survey from HEPI shows that a staggering 92% of students are already using AI. So this isn't some fringe activity anymore, it is the new normal. And that makes understanding the rules more urgent than ever.
So how do we actually make this work for us? Well, the key is to stop thinking of AI as this one single magic answer machine. Instead, start thinking of it as a whole team of specialized assistants. This isn't about letting a machine do your thinking for you. It's about delegating the grunt work so you can focus on what really matters.
Just think about the typical workflow for any big paper, right? You have to find the research, organize it all, actually digest it, and then finally write your draft. Well, there are specific AI assistants that can help you at every single one of these stages.
Okay, for that discovery phase, you have some incredible tools. ResearchRabbit is basically Spotify for papers. You give it one key article, and it just recommends a whole universe of related work. It's amazing. Then you have Litmaps, which is fantastic for visualizing the story of an idea over time. And Elicit. Elicit is a powerhouse. You can ask it a specific question, and it synthesizes findings from dozens of papers to give you an answer.
Now, once you have your sources, your AI squad can help you manage them. Scholarcy can take a super dense PDF and give you a structured summary in seconds just to see if it's worth a deep read. Zotero acts as your personal librarian, organizing everything and generating your citations automatically. And a tool like Writeful is your own personal writing coach, trained on millions of academic papers to get your tone and style just right.
Okay, so you've built your AI study squad, but now we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the rules. This is where most of the anxiety comes from, so let's just tackle the two biggest fears head on. What are the policies, and can I actually get caught?
The million-dollar question. You know, when these tools first came out, a lot of universities turned to AI detection software. They were hoping for a simple tech solution to a really complex problem. But the reality of these tools is, well, it's far from perfect. The big problem is that these AI detectors are just not reliable. Tools like Turnitin and GPT-0 really struggle with text that's been edited or with different formats. But what's even more concerning is that research from Stanford has shown that these tools have a high risk of flagging writing from non-native English speakers as AI-generated, even when it's not. That's a huge problem, and it's why many universities are now telling their faculty not to use these detectors as the only proof of misconduct.
So if the detectors don't really work, what are professors doing? Well, they're going back to more human-centric methods. They're looking for sudden shifts in your writing style. They'll ask you to defend your work in person. They check for those fake, hallucinated citations that AIs sometimes just make up. Really, the focus is shifting away from catching the machine and toward verifying your understanding. And when you look at the actual policies from top universities, you see a really clear pattern emerging. Those old blanket bans are disappearing. Places like Oxford, Stanford, even Peking University's law school, they're all moving toward this model of use it, but tell us. The crucial point is no longer if you use AI, but how you use it and whether you're being totally transparent about it.
And that brings us to the playbook. Since transparency is the name of the game, let's just walk through the exact steps for using AI responsibly. This way, you can protect your academic integrity while still getting all the benefits from these powerful tools.
The major citation guides have officially weighed in, and the rule is actually pretty simple. The Chicago Manual of Style says that because your conversation with an AI is unique, no one else can go back and find it, it should be cited as personal communication, just like you would an interview or an email.
And here's exactly what that looks like in a footnote. You just list the AI you used, the prompt you gave it, the date, the company that made it, and the URL. It's pretty straightforward. And here's the key part. Because it's considered non-retrievable, you don't include it in your final bibliography or reference list. It only goes in the notes.
Now, beyond just citing it, the most important skill you can learn is prompting. A lazy prompt asks the AI to do the work for you, but a smart prompt asks the AI to help you do the work. See the difference? By asking it to act as a tutor or help me brainstorm, you're using it to build a scaffold for your own thinking, not as a substitute for it.
And finally, to be completely safe, whenever you're allowed to use AI, include a transparency statement with your work. This is just a brief note that clearly lists the tools you used, how you use them, and confirms that you've done your due diligence by fact-checking everything. This shows your instructor that you're using these tools in a mature and responsible way.
So when you put this all together, you have the right tools, you have a clear understanding of the rules, and you have a commitment to being transparent. It actually changes more than just how you write a paper. It fundamentally redefines the entire process of learning itself.
And this is the key idea right here. Human in the loop. Think of it as a partnership. You let your AI study squad handle the tedious, repetitive tasks, finding sources, summarizing articles, checking grammar. That frees up your mental energy for the work that truly matters. The analysis, the critical thinking, and crafting your own unique argument.
Ultimately, we're moving into a world where just having access to information isn't the main challenge anymore. The new skill, the one that's going to define scholarship in the age of AI, isn't about finding answers. It's about learning how to ask the right questions.